I was. I don't have Tourette's.
High fiving everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So this over the past week, as you guys know, we've done Topia, and it's been my pleasure to sort of try to assist you guys in government. Maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, when Pastor was still here, I was on his team. We were playing home run derby, and it was really goofy. I think Hex was on my team, and I don't remember who else, but Aaron was on my team too. And we were having a lot of fun, and it was tied. Things were getting a little heated. Hearts were starting to race. Rob was out in the outfield, so we knew we had to hit it to him. And, you know, I made a joke to them, and they really picked up on it. I go, guys, just slow it down. Just slow it down. Let's just slow it down. And, you know, they made fun of me a little. That's not what you usually say to encourage a good sportsman play. It's usually like, come on, come on, come on, let's go. And for me, I've always erred on the side of just slowing things down. It's given me an opportunity to concentrate and to deliberate and to think a little clearer about what. When we got here, it was like a flash flood. You know, I know we're in Southern California, so that's probably a poor choice of words, but things just like boom, and we see so much opportunity and so many things to change. And you know, in Topia, I just wanted to sort of slow things down a little bit, and I did it with a lot of paperwork and a lot of confusing ideas. And I apologize, but I think there was some benefits that came out of it. You know, I tried to create a system for everybody, including myself, that would allow thoughtful spending. You know, I think we're all so excited to be here that it was like, oh, we need potting soil, we need this, we need that, we need that. And to me, it just sort of seemed like a bit of a rush. I also wanted to create a system that sort of allowed everybody with to have as much power as they desired. You know, so we had free elections, and the group sort of to run the agenda for our meetings. I also to slow down sort of what I like the vigilantism going on here, and try to create a structure of adjudicating problems as they arose. And I think there are many structures that I'm not aware of, and I look forward to the future. And if people want to implement them, please do for conflict resolution. With that said, we did receive a as severe a complaint as possible here, and we are going to be having a trial. I've talked to Chris about it, and he's okay with having a trial tomorrow. So depending on the schedule, I don't know the schedule, I'd like to have an actual trial here, not because I want to have a trial, but because I want to sort of keep it in line with slowing things down and have a fact-finding mission to figure out what's going on. The other thing I've been thinking about a lot today is we're here to create our own rules, and part of creating our rules is more than just like putting up a sentence on the wall. It's understanding those rules, and I think tomorrow is going to introduce a lot of hair splitting and trying to figure out what it is exactly that we're after. With that said, I hope you guys had a good time. You know, I had some fantasies in my mind before this government started that it would be like really wacky, but I've noticed one by one you guys are all starting to get wacky, so there's no need for me to put that upon you. I'd like to just quickly, for my benefit and for our benefit, maybe just go around and discuss sort of maybe a potential takeaway you guys saw from Topia. And we'll keep it brief. From that, you know, I know we talked about the pillars yesterday, and I'm coming to recognize those are pretty important. It's going to take me time, though, because I have my own thinking about how governments run. With that, I know we came up with something, so you could read it off, but after the quick discussion, maybe if there's something else that comes to light that we might potentially take away from my government, we should. So Nikki, why don't you start, and then we'll just zip around, and then we have a really exciting new leader coming in.
So definitely touching upon what you said in terms of slowing down, it's something even in life before Utopia that was really a challenge, especially in fast-paced New York City. And so coming away right in this moment, like, oh my gosh, like so many emails, so many things, I haven't stopped yet since I woke up. And you'd think like we're here in Utopia, relax, or and it can be relaxing. And so I appreciated the different levels or points to get to in terms of creating rules and to file complaints or resolutions, and to make purchases and all of those things. And so I'd like to continue to slow down here in Utopia, so thank you.
I really appreciated how you formalized government. I know you wrote that down, but that was one big thing for me. I like structure, and I really liked how you try to be as fair and as equal as you possibly could, especially with the elections of our peers. I really appreciated that.
I wasn't here before, so I don't really have a lot to say. I was only here for half of your government, maybe. I don't know. I personally feel like all the governments that I've seen start with the assumption that humans are bad and need to be watched out for, and this one is the same thing. That being said, I just loved your trial and how much feedback you were willing to take, and how you saw in a closed environment like this, it's hard to be objective, and mad respect to you.
Yeah, I really liked the fact that kind of splitting up the amount of times that we met and having it in very specific days, specific times, forced people to prepare. And when you make people prepare for a meeting, you also make them have to actually think through all the facets of something that they're going to say or present or want or ask for. And so I think that helps weed out a lot of really frivolous or off-the-cuff or emotional things. As well as the fact that, as Amanda will relate to me, that I need to know everything at all times. And so I really like there being specified times when there's a status update from everybody. That's really nice.
I was actually going to say that. Thanks. Yeah, I liked how your meetings are broken up to 2 specific days, which forced people to actually, write down their thoughts and, organize them, think through them, plan them out. And I liked how when at the meetings we present what's going on at specific areas, so the whole group stays on the same page. I like that.
I really appreciated your systems and the formalization of your government, but I also appreciated the way you approached it through entertainment, like team building activities. You didn't just stand up there and harp at us about your government and make rules. I mean, you allowed there to be like laughter in your government too, and how you taught your ideas. So I really appreciated that.
I liked the organization and how you kind of just stepped back and kind of officiated it. You didn't necessarily get involved as far as leading it. But one of the things I really liked was you made it so certain areas could champion for their cause, where I could be an advocate for more money for infrastructure, or anybody in another area could, and I could just come to the Pioneer Council and fight for the money that I needed for those areas, or other people could do the same thing. I really enjoyed that.
And I really appreciate the fact that you took it seriously, but not too seriously. Like Kristen said, you made it fun. And you made it the meetings fun, and the trials were a lot of fun. And we have to take things seriously here. We're kind of in a different situation, but can be more lighthearted about it and get our point across. And I like the fact that you stepped back also. I had a tremendous respect for you for still being able to get your point across, and we all had some tremendous change in structure without you having to point finger and tell us what to do. You just kind of stepped back and let us figure it out ourselves, and that was really nice.
Fantastic. That's it.
I appreciated the implementation of a fair trial. I think it's important when we are creating rules that we find a way to structure them properly. In the form of a trial, I think it's important too that we not only take the time to gather the facts, but also hear the facts. I think it kind of prevents us from going back to the Salem witch trials and burning each other at the stake and seeing each other dance with the devil. So I appreciate the time to stop and hear what went on before we kind of jump in both feet.
It's kind of what I know in the outside world. I like the fact that you weren't the leader. You organized it. You held a vote, and I really liked that about your government. Other than that, it was a great job.
I thought it was great. I guess me being the military guy, I like structure. I might not always implement it,
you know, but I do like coming into something that has structure established so that there's guidelines to go by. And I think when we first got here, it was kind of like controlled chaos in the sense that all 15 of us or 14 of us had like a different perspective. And you kind of allowed everybody unbiasedly to see the same thing with the judicial system. And I think everybody respected it too, so.
What are we doing?
You can just
say whatever I want.
Yeah, you could be mean. No,
I
was
can?
waiting for you. But.
I know. No, this is not mean. I really enjoyed it, and I was actually shocked by how much thought and work was put into it, especially the trial, because I was like, okay, we're gonna have a fun trial, we're gonna do some improv, and it's gonna be fun. But after it was all over, to see how much you thought about it and why you were doing it, I was really like, wow, that's really awesome. On another note, as the Chunkins, I enjoyed that, but I found it a couple of times, it was really interesting because people were looking to me to make certain decisions, and they weren't decisions for me to be made. It was for you to make amongst yourselves. I was just basically, you know, the speaker, and that was really interesting because and I liked it because while people came to me for certain things, it was in their hands and for them to deal with, and I didn't really have to take any responsibility and vote one way or the other, which was really nice. I enjoyed that. Yeah, it's fun.
It's not really fair after 15 people. I mean, we kind of covered it all. But I did like the trial. I thought that was pretty awesome. I think, like everybody said, it was a fun way to learn how to do it. I'm not a big person on government. I don't know much about it, but you kind of made it a fun way to learn about it. What I really respected on what you put into it was there is a lot of hearsay around here, and a lot of people jump to conclusions by just hearing one thing. And I think with how you wanted to kind of drop everything we were doing at that time and get straight to the point on figuring out where this all started from, not let it build up to be over dramatic and, you know, from me going to Nikki and saying something and Nikki going to somebody and saying something. I mean, over that time period, everybody gets really extremely mad, and I liked how you kind of would just cut it off from the source and bring it to everybody right off the bat. So instead of a giant explosion, you kind of cut it off before there was an explosion. So I liked that a lot.
Cool. Well, that makes me feel good. I did want to mention one of my motivations for trying to make somebody else the president, or like we called it the Chunkins, was I've been alive for about 6 or 7, I guess 6 presidencies, and every guy who goes in there, within 2 or 3 years, you notice that his hair is gray, and I really didn't want that. So have fun with that, Rob. But maybe just, I remember we wrote something down about a potential pillar that we could come up with to reflect my government, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on the words. We could use something from my government in the Utopia pillars later on, or we could just not. So I don't remember what
it was for yours. It was methodical construction of governing processes was what they said the other day. But then with all this feedback, the 2 things that popped up the most was the structure and then also the free election of a leader. So
okay, well, those are things we can you know, I don't know if we can, I don't know. Government structure with free elections, maybe?
Free election of a leader within a methodical structure.
What was that?
Free election of a leader within a methodical structure.
Can be fun.
Can be fun.
Can be fun.
Yeah. I was hoping to prove that the boring can be fun. But so maybe just write that down, and when we finalize, as we move forward, we're going to leaders add to our pillars of Utopia and make this into sort of an exciting society. Speaking of exciting, he's a man with many characters, but he certainly has a lot of character, and I'm looking forward to him leading for the next time, week or whatever it is. And Chris, we're all excited to see what you have to offer, and right. Yeah, so let's get it going.
Intro. All right. Thank you, buddy.
What's that?
Let's do that in a second.
Show me what you're working
I'll
with.
call you up.
Okay.